Imagine someone convinces an entire generation that the only acceptable way to prove your love is with a particular object, not because of religion, not because of law, not because of thousands of years of tradition, because of an advertising campaign. It sounds impossible, yet that's exactly what happened. Today, diamond engagement rings feel ancient, timeless, almost inevitable. But for most of history, they weren't. Yes, diamond engagement rings existed. European royalty had exchanged them for centuries. One of the earliest recorded examples dates back to 1477, when Archduke Maximilian of Austria presented Mary of Burgundy with a diamond engagement ring. But for hundreds of years afterward, diamonds remained a luxury for the aristocracy. Most couples exchanged simple gold bands or rings set with pearls, rubies, emeralds, or sapphires. There was nothing inevitable about a diamond, so how did one gemstone become almost synonymous with marriage? The answer wasn't buried underground, it was written on Madison Avenue. By the 1930s, the diamond industry faced an uncomfortable problem. New discoveries in South Africa had flooded the market. There were more diamonds than ever before, and that was dangerous, because luxury depends on scarcity. If diamonds became too common, their value could collapse. De Beers understood something most companies didn't. The problem wasn't supply, it was demand. People already knew diamonds were beautiful. The company needed them to believe diamonds were necessary. In 1938, De Beers hired one of America's most influential advertising agencies, N.W. Ayer and Son. Their assignment wasn't to sell jewelry, it was to reshape culture. The agency quickly realized something remarkable. People don't imitate advertisements, they imitate each other. So instead of convincing people directly, they decided to surround them. Movie stars began wearing diamonds. Fashion magazines featured glamorous engagements. Newspapers celebrated celebrities with dazzling rings. Diamonds quietly appeared everywhere, not as products, as symbols. The campaign worked best when it stopped looking like advertising, until eventually it simply felt like tradition. Then came 4 words, written almost as an afterthought by copywriter Francis Geraghty in 1947. A diamond is forever. 4 words. 1 sentence. They may be the most successful slogan ever written, because they solved 2 problems at once. They connected diamonds to eternal love, and they quietly discouraged resale. If a diamond is forever, why would you ever sell it? The slogan wasn't only romantic, it was economic. Every diamond kept in a jewelry box was one less diamond competing with newly mined stones. The campaign had transformed a gemstone into an heirloom. But the campaign didn't stop there. It reached young couples long before they became engaged. Agency strategy documents described lectures in high schools centered around the diamond engagement ring. The goal wasn't simply to sell jewelry, it was to shape expectations. Before many young women had even met the person they would marry, they were already learning what a proposal was supposed to look like. Then came another brilliant idea. Advertising gave love a price tag. Campaigns suggested that a respectable engagement ring should cost a certain portion of a man's salary. The exact number changed over time and across countries, but the message never did. The size of the sacrifice became part of the symbol. The ring no longer represented only love. It represented commitment measured in dollars. The campaign expanded around the world. In Japan, diamond engagement rings had never been a deeply rooted tradition. That didn't matter. Advertising simply built a new one. Modern women, modern marriages, modern diamonds. Within a generation, a custom that barely existed began to feel centuries old. And that's the remarkable thing about culture. Once enough people believe a story, they stop asking where it came from. Children watch their parents exchange diamond rings. Those children grew up, and repeated the tradition. Then their children did the same. Eventually, the advertising disappeared, but the belief remained. That's when marketing reaches its highest form. When nobody remembers it was marketing at all. Today, millions of people genuinely believe a diamond engagement ring is an ancient tradition. In reality, what feels timeless is often surprisingly modern, not because anyone was deceived, but because culture is built exactly this way. One generation invents a ritual, the next generation inherits it. By the third, it feels eternal. Perhaps that's the greatest achievement of the campaign. It didn't simply convince people to buy diamonds, it changed what love looked like. And once an idea becomes emotionally attached to one of the most important moments in a person's life, it becomes extraordinarily difficult to question. Luxury often begins with scarcity. Sometimes it begins with royalty. Sometimes it begins with invention. But occasionally, it begins with an idea. An idea repeated so often that it stops feeling like advertising and starts feeling like truth. So here's the question. If one advertising campaign could redefine the symbol of love for millions of people, what other traditions do we assume are timeless when they were actually created?